Assalamu alaikum students, welcome to Cambrian virtual classroom. I am with you again with another English lesson from your English for Today textbook. And first let me introduce myself. I am SM Saifullah, lecturer English, Cambrian College, Chattogram. So, what do you see in the picture? Please observe for a moment. And how about these? What do you see here? I think you have got it. These are two universities. This is from Dhaka University, the previous one is from Chittagong University. Can you guess what our today's lesson about? Okay. I think you are right. We will discuss a lesson from Unit 15. And the lesson is An Eastern University by Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, actually the lesson number should be lesson 1. I have made a blunder. Sorry about that. So, An Eastern University by Rabindranath Tagore. What does Eastern mean? You all know. East mean Purbo, Purber Bishwabidyalay. পূর্বের বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় মানে কি বোঝাচ্ছে? What does Rabindranath mean by it? The Indian subcontinent is located in the eastern side of the world, and by Eastern University he meant universities from Asia, particularly Indian subcontinent. Before starting the lesson, you should note that during Rabindranath's lifetime, that is from 1861 to 1941, Rabindranath was born on 1861 and died in 1941. So, during that time period, India was united. There was no Pakistan, no Bangladesh. So, when Rabindranath Tagore mentioned India here, he actually meant the whole Indian subcontinent. You and I are included in that India, in Rabindranath's India. Okay? Learning outcome. At the end of the lesson, students will be able to explain the purpose of university. Students can identify drawbacks of today's university education in Bangladesh, or in that case India. Here Rabindranath Tagore actually tried to make us understand what is the primary purpose, primary function of a university. Does a university, should a university be a place to produce some candidates for the job field or anything else? We will see here. Okay? We will actually divide this lesson in 3 separate videos. So, look out for that. Universities should never be made into mechanical organization. What is a mechanical organization? As you can see, a factory, a mechanical factory where different machines are working to make something, to produce something. So, here Rabindranath Tagore also said that university should never be made into mechanical organization. University should not be robotic, okay, for collecting and distributing knowledge. It is not the function of university to collect some knowledge and just impart them and give them to students. No, university's primary function according to Rabindranath Tagore is research. Through them, through the universities, the people should offer their intellectual hospitality. What does hospitality mean? In Bengali, we call it atitheyota. When a guest comes at your house, you offer them with some snacks or meal, that is hospitality. And what does intellectual hospitality mean? When you make some snacks with your intellect, তোমার বুদ্ধি দিয়ে, তোমার জ্ঞান দিয়ে কাউকে যখন আতিথেয়তা করবে, when you impart your knowledge, you share your knowledge with someone, that is intellectual hospitality. When you willingly do that, not by force. So, through them, the people should offer, through universities, the people should offer their intellectual hospitality, their wealth of mind mean knowledge, to others, and earn their proud right in return. And in return of their sharing knowledge, they should earn their right to receive gifts from the rest of the world. They are doing a noble thing, and the people of the world should respect them for it. But in the whole length and breadth of India, he meant that in the whole India, there is not a single university established in the modern time where a foreign or an Indian student can properly be acquainted with the best products of the Indian mind. What does be acquainted with mean? Be acquainted with mean to be introduced, to be familiar with something. So, Rabindranath Tagore actually is upset that there is not a single university established in his time where a foreign student or an Indian student can be familiar with, can be in touch with an educated, properly educated man, a very intellectual man. He meant that the university teachers should be more intellectual. Okay? And he also meant that the best products of Indian mind, the most talented people in India aren't opting for university teaching profession. For that, to be in touch with most intellectual man of the land, we have to cross the sea and knock at the doors of France and Germany. Why we have to cross the sea? If you see the world map, to be in France or Germany, from India we have to cross the sea and go through the Pacific Ocean and reach Europe. There is a shortcut way through Mediterranean Sea also. Okay? This longer route is actually discovered by Vasco da Gama. So, we have to cross the sea to be in France or Germany if we want to be in touch with the greatest, the most talented teachers. Educational institutions in our country, that is India, and you can also he can also mean Bangladesh or Pakistan. Educational institutions in our country are India's alms bowl of knowledge. What does an alms bowl? Bhikkar patra. Actually, this alms bowl is carried by some Buddhist monks. And why Rabindranath Tagore called our education institutions as alms bowl? Because they are receiving these type of education, they are receiving the education system from other countries. তারা অন্য দেশ থেকে শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থা ভিক্ষা করে আনছে অথবা ধার করে আনছে। They lower our intellectual self-respect. When you make something using your own intellect, you can be proud of it. তুমি যখন নিজের মেধা ব্যবহার করে কিছু তৈরি করবে, তুমি তা নিয়ে গর্ব করতে পারো। You can't do the same thing when you are copying from someone else. অন্য কারো থেকে যখন তুমি জাস্ট নকল করছো, তুমি একই গর্বটা করতে পারো না। যদি তা করো তাহলে সেটা খুবই অসুন্দর ব্যাপার হবে, তাই না? In the same way, our educational institutions are using education systems from foreign universities, and that's how we are lowering our self-respect. যখন আমরা অন্যের কোনো কিছু ব্যবহার করে কোনো একটা সফলতা পাই, সেটা আমাদের জন্য গর্বের না, আমাদের আত্মমর্যাদা তাতে কমে যায়। They encourage us, the universities of India encourage us to make a foolish display of decorations composed of borrowed feathers. Look at the picture. Here a crow has used the feathers from a peacock, and he is making a foolish display. He or she is pretending that I am a peacock, look. But we all know that he or she is not a peacock. He is just an imposter. So when we use education system from a foreign university, we are like these crow, and our education system actually encourages to be that crow. Okay. Man's intellect has a natural pride in its own aristocracy. Our intellect, আমাদের যে বুদ্ধিমত্তা তা নিয়ে কিন্তু আমরা গর্বিত, and this pride comes from our own aristocracy. What does aristocracy mean? Nobility. আমাদের নিজস্ব কালচার নিয়ে আমরা গর্বিত এবং আমাদের কালচারকে নিয়ে আমাদের গর্ব হওয়ার কথা, which is the pride of its culture, and this pride comes from our culture. Culture only acknowledges the excellence. What does excellence mean? Superiority, greatness, perfection, supremacy. So our culture acknowledge, আমাদের কালচার স্বীকার করে সেই চমৎকারিত্বকে, সেই গ্রেটনেসকে স্বীকার করে নেয়, whose criticism is in its inner perfection, not in any external success. What does it mean? It is actually a little difficult to conceptualize. Actually, if you are educated using your own education system and you are successful, your culture can be proud of you. But when you use an education system that is not derived from your culture and you are successful, your culture cannot be proud of you. Your culture cannot acknowledge your success. Okay, যখন তুমি বাইরের পদ্ধতিতে পড়াশোনা করে সফলতা পেলে, সে তোমার কালচার, তোমার দেশবাসী কি তা নিয়ে গর্ব করার অধিকার রাখে? না। তুমি যেই দেশের শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থা অনুসরণ করে সফলতা অর্জন করেছো, তারা গর্ব করতে পারে, দেখো সে আমাদের পদ্ধতিতে পড়াশোনা করে সফলতা পেয়েছে, আমাদের পদ্ধতিতে যেহেতু পেয়েছে আমরা গর্বিত। ওর দেশের তো কোনো ভালো শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থা নাই, ওটা নিয়েও করতে পারে নাই। সো হিয়ার উই আর অ্যাকচুয়ালি yielding to other education system. When this pride, we are proud of our culture, but this pride succumbs to, what does succumbs to mean? Surrender, bow, to give in, to yield, বশ্যতা স্বীকার করা, আনুগত্য মেনে নেওয়া। When this pride succumbs to some compulsion of necessity, compulsion, obligation, বাধ্যবাধকতা, or lure, প্রলোভন of material advantage. Material advantage mean পার্থিব সুযোগ সুবিধা। পৃথিবীতে তুমি সফলতা অর্জন করার জন্য অনেক সময় আমরা আমাদের গর্বের জায়গাটা বিসর্জন দিতে হচ্ছে, আমাদের যে কালচারকে বিসর্জন দিয়ে অন্য দেশের শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থা অনুযায়ী শিক্ষিত হতে হচ্ছে কিছু পার্থিব জাগতিক কিছু অর্জনের জন্য। It brings humiliation to the intellectual man. It is not something we are happy about. So if I am an intellectual man, I should be ashamed of it. Humiliation means embarrassment, degradation, disgrace, degradation actually. Modern India, আধুনিক ভারত, through her very education, তারই শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থার মাধ্যমে, has been made to suffer this humiliation. India is forcing her to suffer this humiliation because she can't provide an education system of her own. Once she herself, she means India, herself provided her children, her citizens. We are the children of India, children with a culture. India's culture is a very diverse culture, as you know, was the product of her own ages, and this culture isn't the product of 1 or 2 months or year. This culture has been developed through ages and thoughts of and creation. So these culture is the creation of many ages, and we should use the culture to make our own education system. Our education system should use elements from our culture. But it has been thrust aside. Thrust means to push hard, plunge, to shove, to smack. Okay, we are pushing hard our education system aside. আমরা আমাদের শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থাকে আমাদের কালচারকে একদিকে সরিয়ে রাখছি. We are not proud of our own culture. Ask yourself, do you like Jatrapala? Do you like baul songs? Do you even heard of the many folk songs in our country? Probably not, and sometimes we are even embarrassed about those. Okay, but these are our own thing, these are our own creation. We should be proud of that. This is unique to Bangladesh, so we should be proud of that. But no, we are proud of band music, we are proud of pop music, we always talk about foreign singers, not our folk singers. So you see, we are thrusting aside our own culture, and we are made to tread the meal of passing examination. We are forced to tread the meal. Tread means to walk, to step on. You know treadmill? An instrument, a device is used for exercise, for running. So we are made to run, tread the meal of passing examination. Amra porikha pasher doure achi. It is not important to learn anything. It is important to pass the exam nowadays, as you know. Not for learning anything. We are passing examination not for learning anything, but for notifying that. We pass exam for notifying the employers. চাকরি যারা দিচ্ছে তাদেরকে জানানোর জন্য পরীক্ষা পাস করি। কি জানানোর জন্যে? That we are qualified, we are suitable, আমরা যোগ্য হয়েছি for employments, for jobs under organizations conducted in English. The organization that are run in English, ইংরেজিতে পরিচালিত প্রতিষ্ঠানে আমরা কাজ করার উপযুক্ততা অর্জন করেছি, এটা জানানোর জন্যই যেন আমরা পরীক্ষা পাস করি, কিছু শেখার জন্য না। Our educated community is not a cultured community. আমাদের শিক্ষিত সম্প্রদায় সভ্য সম্প্রদায় না। They don't get the education for themselves, but a community of qualified candidates. They are a group of people, and they are qualified according to paper, according to certificates. Candidate means applicant, contender, contestant. Meanwhile, ইতোমধ্যে the proportion of possible employment to the number of claimants also meant applicants here, has gradually been growing narrower. So every year many people are graduating, and they are actually thought themselves to be qualified to get jobs, but the possible employments, the number of employments, the number of posts in different organizations are very limited. So a person chance of getting a job is getting narrower, and the consequent disaffection has been widespread. And and when a person don't get job but he has certificate, he naturally get dissatisfied. Disaffection means dissatisfaction, animosity, hatred, ঘৃণা, and the hatred, the resentment, animosity is widespread, ব্যাপকভাবে বিস্তৃত. At last, the very authorities who are responsible for these, our education system, our educators, okay, the system that is giving us the certificates, okay, they are responsible for this, but they are blaming their victims. The victims, who are the victims? The people who get certificate but they are not getting jobs, they are the victims, and the authorities are blaming their victims that you are not qualified. How can you get a job? But how come I am not qualified? You have given me the certificate. Such is the perversity. Perversity means বিকৃতি, আমাদের চারিত্রিক বিকৃতি, মানুষের চারিত্রিক বিকৃতি, নষ্টামি। Such is the perversity of human nature. মানুষ প্রাকৃতিকভাবে এমন বিকৃত। It bears its worst grudge. It means humanity. মানুষেরা ধারণ করে its worst grudge. Grudge means hard feelings, hatred, ঘৃণা। মানুষ তার সাথেই তার প্রতি সবচাইতে বেশি ঘৃণা লালন করে। Against those it has injured, যাদেরকে কষ্ট দিয়েছে। তুমি কাউকে কষ্ট দিয়ে দিচ্ছ, বিপরীত এবং একই সাথে তুমি যেন তাকে আবার ঘৃণাও করছো। ওকে, you are doing harm to a person, you should be sorry here, but no, you are actually bear a grudge against that person. So that's all for today. We'll continue the lesson in the next class. I hope you have enjoyed the class. Until next class, Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.